This is Cloud. This is who this video is about because of something that we experienced for the first time. If there's anybody else out there that has trouble, I know that a lot of times when I face something with my sheep that I've never dealt with before, I turn to videos. But today's video is going to be about bloat. A couple of weeks ago, I live here in Arkansas. It's so terribly hot and humid sometimes out here in the South. And we had a particularly very hot weekend. Saturday and Sunday both temperatures were near 100 and the humidity was really high. In fact, I think the day that this happened, the heat index was 119. So that's terrible. And I actually don't usually worry too much about my sheep in the heat because wool also acts as it keeps them cool. And I've never had one have heat exhaustion. We do provide shade. They have to have shade and they have to have water, and we make sure that they can get out of the sun, and they will. They will stay completely out of the sun. They will not get out into the pasture until the sun goes down, and then in the early morning. That Sunday evening, I thought, it's just so hot and humid, I feel like I need to walk through them. So I walked through everybody, and I found Cloud right up next to the water trough. She was visibly in distress. So I'm going to show you now the videos. These are the actual videos that day that I sent to my vet. Okay, so you notice the heavy breathing, the panting, kind of an irregular respiratory effort. I immediately thought it was heat distress. So her breathing pattern was very irregular. It was a strange pant. And directly, I noticed in the breathing that there would be some gurgling. And the gurgling would come up from her stomach, and then it would kind of rest in her throat like she wanted to get it out, but she was having a hard time breathing and belching. So it got me to thinking, because she is a wool sheep, and because even though she's a lamb, she does have a pretty long staple length to her wool already, you don't really see the form of their body quite as well. But I stood up, and now I'm going to show you the picture that I took, that I sent to my vet, that I took over her, and I'll see if you noticed what I noticed immediately. So you can see that her left side of her abdomen is pretty distended. That is what bloat will do, because that is where the bloat is going to show up to you. It's going to be more protruding out there on their left side. So when I sent that video to my vet, I said, on second thought, I don't think we've got heat distress. I'm worried that I have bloat. And I had already sent him the video with the gurgling sounds. And so he told me what to do. And so here's what we did. I brought her into the barn. We did baking soda and water. My camera's about to fall. We did baking soda and water drenches. I just did one at first. This was a period of like 2 hours that I worked with her. So she had more than one drench, but I gave her the baking soda and salt to hopefully get that acid down in her belly. And then I gave her mineral oil, which I had the mineral oil on hand because I wanted to make sure that that was in my medicine kit for my sheep. Mineral oil is to help when they have this bloat. They get all this gas buildup, and there's a lot of stuff going on in there in the belly, and it produces all these bubbles, and the bubbles are inside the liquid, so they can't get all the air out because it's in the liquid. So what the mineral oil does is it helps to bring that liquid down, kind of, I don't know what you say, binds to it so that the air can escape. And so I did that, and I then did some belly massage, which was very uncomfortable for her. When I started doing that, she did not like it at all. It was very painful, but I massaged her belly, and when I say I massaged her belly, I was really kind of, I was aggressive because I needed it to move. I wanted the air to move. I really wanted it to shake up because gravity. So I'm trying to shake her belly. I pushed in on the flanks a little bit, and we made some progress. So then when I could hear that the air was moving and she would try to burp, I then took her and I set her up on her haunches, and I would kind of gently bounce her a little bit. And when I would do that, she would burp, and it smelled horrible. But every time she would let out a big burp, I could tell immediately that she felt a little bit better. It was more and more and more relief. I kept doing this for 2 hours. Before I went to bed that night, I gave her more water and baking soda, and I gave her some more mineral oil. I was a little worried about giving her too much mineral oil because I was afraid that it was going to give her diarrhea. So that made me a little bit nervous, and you don't want to keep doing that for days. So just the initial day that it happens is when you want to do the mineral oil, and so I did. She had 2 that night. We had success. The next morning I went out. She really wasn't feeling that great, but much improved, and was not having that labored breathing. So I knew that we had made progress. Her belly was tender. She didn't really want me messing with it, but she did not have the distension. The distension was gone, but there was a lot of noise in there. I could still hear the noise, and every once in a while she would burp. She was able to do it on her own then. So I felt like we'd really made some progress, but I sure didn't want to turn her back out on the grass. And so I texted my vet. He told me if I had a way that it would be best to keep her up off grass, no grain and no corn, no nothing but hay and water for a week. And so that's what I did. This is Bernie, and she is pawing me to death. You're hurting me. But we kept her up for a week, and she did fantastic, and now she's back out, and she's been out for a few days and with the other ladies, and she's just doing great. So I just wanted to share that experience in case somebody else runs into the same problem. So